like to be during these times? What's your goal? Feel free to add that into the chats. Claire would love to be a source of calm. Kelvin wants to be a level-headed person. That can be quite challenging. And a source of positivity. Fantastic, Claire. Yeah, be positive, Rosamond. Kurt would love to be an inspiring and visionary leader that sees through the crisis to opportunity. Absolutely. Peace sender, positive helper. Thank you. Linda Sim, an inspiring mum, teacher, and creator. A kind person, calm and influencing and positive. Thank you. Supporter of the family, a great partner, friend, and source of hope and inspiration. Great stuff. All right, these are fantastic goals for us to focus on at the moment. So this is our goal for this session, and these are the things that we want to focus on as we go through our stress busting session today. I want to share a little bit about me. So normally when I introduce myself, I will talk about qualifications, background, leadership development experience, all that kind of thing. And I just thought, actually, you know what? I will share some of my stress highlights. When I was 3 years old, I almost drowned. My dad thought it was a great idea to kind of push me out into the sea in a dinghy. And unfortunately, a big wave came in, and very scary. I had whooping cough when I was very young, and my parents were very, very worried. 14, I got very badly bullied, thought about suicide at that time. Big change for me when I was 20, when I moved from the UK to study in the US, and went through a real transformation there. Age 22, flew halfway across the world to open my first business in Shanghai. And age 24, of course, the SARS epidemic kicked in. So this is feeling quite reminiscent. A lot of fear, a lot of heartache, a lot of worry about how business is going to go ahead, if it is even going to go ahead, and a lot of fear, being surrounded by a lot of fear. People at that time, I remember, instead of toilet paper, that time it was vinegar and salt. All the vinegar and salt of every shop had been purchased, and people were washing the apartment floors with vinegar because they believed that would kill the virus. That was a rumor that had gone around. And so people are still crazy, which is, comforting to know that. We're all still a bit mad. Financial crisis kicked in when I was 30 years old. My company downsized incredibly rapidly, 117 people to 38. There was 2 weeks where I did not sleep at all, and I was beginning to hallucinate a little bit. I was making phone calls pretty much every day to friends who essentially were like my family, who were part of the company, letting them down, asking them to move into part-time positions. Very, very painful time, very challenging time. Age 32, I married an Asian wife, possibly the most stressful thing that you can do. Just joking, Candy's on this call somewhere. She's just being quiet at the moment. And I also had 2 kids as well, which is a little bit stressful as well. 36, I got drugged and robbed, which was a lot of fun. I'll tell you the story later. 39 years old, I bought a company out of near bankruptcy. I didn't realize how bad things were at the company. Oh my goodness, it was a very, very dark place. And the debt was much, much higher than expected. And it was a huge challenge. However, we've turned things around, now back into the thick of it. 41, Hong Kong protests, of course, kicked off in Hong Kong, which a lot of us have had huge challenges dealing with, as firebombs and tear gas have been firing all around us. Of course, COVID-19 started pretty early for Hong Kong, so our kids have been basically homeschooling since January 15th, with pretty much all public facilities closed. Company down to very, very low revenues. There was a case in our building. Sister and niece also had gotten sick, and I've got elderly parents in the UK. So just a few stress highlights there. And how to be a source of positivity to lead both yourself and lead others. This is something that I am really learning. I have to deal with a lot of stress myself, and so a lot of the lessons I'm going to be sharing are personal, and hopefully I can give you some ideas as to some things that you can do to really have a big impact, help you sleep better, help you be more positive, more effective with the people around you. So we look at what is stress, what does it do, how do we create it, how do we reduce it. We're going to look at a fantastic tool called cognitive reframing. We're going to look at what are some of the things what are the beliefs that we have? These are super powerful. What are the beliefs we have that induce stress and increase stress? And what are the beliefs we have that help us reduce it? And we're going to look at the importance of self-care. We're going to create a self-care plan for you guys. So what is stress? My definition of stress is that it is an individual's response to pressure, how we are pressured and how we respond. So it is very much based on us and how we are impacted. What do we do? Do we take a deep breath? Do we head out and get some exercise? Do we refresh ourselves with lots of water and eating healthily? Or do we begin to crack and crumble, and we begin to lose sleep and have a lot of acid build up in our stomachs, and have a very strong feeling of stress across our shoulders? How do we respond? So does stress really matter? Well, even before COVID-19 times, absolutely yes. 75% of the population experiences stress every week. So a lot of kids around the world are feeling a lot of stress, a lot of pressure at school. People of all age ranges are feeling a lot of stress. And now in these times, I don't know anybody who is not experiencing some very serious stress levels, not just every week, but in fact every day. It's a major factor in 55% of heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke cases. 25% of all prescription medicine sales are for stress-related issues. That is a hell of a lot of medicine that people are taking around the world to help them reduce their stress levels. And $200 billion estimated per year in absences and medical costs just in the US. So it matters an enormous amount even before the COVID times. And right now, stress levels are absolutely through the roof for almost all of us. I'm sure, and actually we need to find out what are some of the symptoms and if you are experiencing any of these symptoms. So number one symptom, difficulty sleeping. Is it tough to get to sleep at night? Are you waking up in the middle of the night? Are you waking up super early? Loss of appetite or eating junk food, emotional outbursts. And I'm going to start the poll now. So I'm going to launch something called the polling, which is a really nice tool that we have available in Zoom. If you are using a browser to join us, you won't be able to have it, but what we'd love you to do is just write down the numbers in the chat to add yourself. So feel free to answer the poll, and it's multiple choice. You can choose as many of these as you like. Just say which of the stress symptoms have you experienced in the past few weeks. Choose as many as you like. Okay, so is it poor concentration, memory? Is it nervous habits such as nail biting? It could be shaking. I know some people's knees shake sometimes. Headaches, for example. Is it heartburn? Acid reflux? Feeling of high levels of acid. And uncharacteristic mistakes, violent or antisocial behavior, and drinking too much alcohol. So please do choose any of the symptoms that you've experienced. If you have experienced all of them, I kind of have to choose which ones I haven't experienced. It's easier that way. If you do not have the polling available, and I realize that for some of you, if you're joining through a browser or if you're joining through your phone, you won't have the polling available. So just please in the chat, just write down the numbers. So you could write down number 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, and just. Zenik is drinking too much Answas. Sounds interesting. Making me interested in that particular drink, but it's no different to the usual. So yeah. Jules, neck and shoulder pain. absolutely. So yeah, it might even be other symptoms. Yes, and a lot of people feel stress across the shoulders. Seneca is saying 1, 4, and 5. So difficulty sleeping, poor concentration. I've certainly had quite a bit of difficulty sleeping. It's been up and down, but I've certainly had that, especially on the days that I don't exercise. That for me is something very closely connected. Shoulder pain causing headache and then difficulty sleeping. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to end the poll now, and then I'm going to share with you the results of this poll. And number 1 for most people in the group, 14 out of 27, is difficulty sleeping. Joint place for number 2 is emotional outbursts, either tears or anger, and poor concentration or memory. Absolutely, it's really quite tough to concentrate, especially on work, when there's so much news coming in, there's so many messages from friends and family members. Number 3, jointly, headaches, loss of appetite or eating junk food, so comfort eating, very, very common. Drinking too much, uncharacteristic mistakes. All right, thank you so much for sharing. So what we can see basically from these poll results is that it is affecting all of us. All right, you are not alone in having these symptoms. It's affecting everybody around the world right now. And the biggest problem that we are facing with stress is that if stress lasts for more than 2 to 3 days, it becomes chronic stress, and that reduces the effectiveness of your immune system. And that obviously right now is something we absolutely have to be looking after. Stress occurs, we have an increased heart rate and blood pressure. Now in the short term, that actually increases our immune system. It actually improves our immune system if we have this only for the next few hours, but not for the next few days. What happens if we have it longer term is that our digestive system becomes compromised because our stomach acid has gone up to too high a level. We're not digesting our food properly, and that's impacting our bodies. Stress hormones, corticosteroid is produced, and that leads to an increased risk of disease, a decreasing effectiveness of your immune system. So this is where our conclusion is that if we are going to fight COVID-19, we have to reduce our stress levels. This is so important. So we want to keep healthy, and one of the ways to do that is to make sure that we're looking after ourselves and reducing our stress. So how do we create stress and how are we going to reduce it? Well, one of the models that I love is called the NLP communication model. I'm a huge fan of a field called NLP. It stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's all about how we communicate with ourselves, how the communication that we absorb from the world impacts us, and how we impact other people. We continuously have external events happening. We are reading the news, we're getting messages from our phone, we are joining webinars sometimes, and information is coming to us. We are seeing, hearing, feeling. Sometimes at dinner time we're tasting and smelling information as well. Now, we filter a lot of information. If we take in too much information, it will cause overwhelm. So our brains will naturally filter through our language, our memories and beliefs. But what happens is we create internal representations. There are images that pop up inside our minds very, very quickly. If I say to you, yellow horse, for example, then probably everybody on this call now has an image of a yellow horse that has popped up in your mind. The thing is, everybody's yellow horse will be slightly different depending on your upbringing, depending on your background. It might be like a cartoon style yellow horse. It might be a real sort of sandy color horse. It really depends on your experience. So images will pop up very, very quickly inside our minds, and these images will be connected to feelings, our emotions. They change the way that we feel. Now, a yellow horse for most people, unless you've had a very, very bad experience at a young age with a yellow horse, and I apologize if that's happened, but a yellow horse probably doesn't have very much feeling connected to it. And the thing is that even though we perhaps try not to think about something, if we expose ourselves to certain information, it will create internal representations automatically, and it's not a choice. So if I say, don't think about a blue dog, don't think about a blue dog, what are you thinking about now? You can answer in the chat if you like. It is not a choice. Our unconscious mind will pop up with that image of a blue dog. Thank you. And we don't have the ability to negate information. So if you are exposing yourself to news stories, to negative information, those internal representations will appear automatically, and they do impact the way you feel. They impact how happy, how sad, how inspired, how angry, how fearful, how frustrated we are. It's automatic. Our emotions will be impacted. So one of the things that I share is that, you know, whenever I am in Greater China and I'm delivering a training program for people here, I will always mention that one of the things that I love to do as a hobby is to play Mahjong. And I'm pretty good at Mahjong. I learned when I was in Chengdu, I got better when I was in Beijing, and I enjoy playing the game of Mahjong. And what tends to happen when I'm in Greater China is that I share that with the group, and people go, ah, Mahjong, ah, pretty funny, interesting. And they have a picture in their minds of Andy, this crazy Lauai or Guilo playing Mahjong, and they feel kind of happy. And the body language changes. They smile, they laugh, and they go, oh, that's interesting. Ah, very cool. How he plays Mahjong, very cool. And at the end of the training program, their behavior is they say, ah, Andy's fantastic. What a great trainer. Lots of funny stories, especially Mahjong. Love it. And that is a great way for me to generate a positive behavior of people giving me great feedback at the end of the training. Now, unfortunately, if I'm in London or if I'm in New York delivering a program and I say, ah, I love playing Mahjong, everybody goes, Mahjong? What? No idea what Mahjong is because of the filters, right? On the upbringing, people's upbringing, they're not used to what Mahjong, so there's no real internal representation except it's Mahjong, strange words, feeling, probably confusion. Body language will be like this, and behavior is, Andy, what a rubbish trainer. No idea what he's talking about. Mahjong, what's that? Give him a very bad score, don't invite him back. So we need to make sure that when we're communicating with other people, we use the right language. We connect with our audience in the right way. For the most part, we want to make people feel positive, feel supported, feel happy, feel loved. And we want to make sure that we communicate in an effective way with other people to make sure that we are more successful in our lives, both in our work life and our personal life. Now, also, we need to be very aware that this system, this cycle is happening to us all the time. So what are we exposing ourselves to in terms of external events? Watch out for your screen time. My screen time has gone way up. So it used to be that I had about 3.5 hours per day of screen time, which is still quite a lot, but I'm messaging and I'm checking information. And in the past few weeks, my screen time has gone up to like 5 hours per day. It's way too much as I've been reading the news. Friends are sending me links to all kinds of stuff. I'm watching silly videos, all this kind of stuff, but also a lot of negativity. And this is running through my mind. It's generating a lot of negative feelings. My body language is like this. Oh, God, oh. And of course, my behavior is that when I get home, I feel stressed, I feel tired. I want to eat some junk food and comfort food. I don't really want to exercise. I want to watch some rubbish on TV. And my behavior is quite negative. So making sure that we're breaking this pattern by changing what information, what external events are we taking in, or by changing our behavior. Instead, putting our phones down, going on a diet of the news and going out and getting some exercise, and changing the way we act instead of just spending lots of time on Facebook or whatever, changing that behavior to something more positive. So we have something called the oxygen mask principle. Now, if I can ask if anybody knows, so in many leadership trainings, we talk about the oxygen mask principle. And this is the whole idea of when you get on an aeroplane and you are with a child or a couple of children, they make an announcement and they say that in the event of an emergency, when the oxygen masks fall from above, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before your kids. So why do they say that? If I could just get anybody just to raise their hands. And Kurtz, would you like to share?
Because you can't support anyone if you're unable to support yourself.
Exactly right. Yes. So if you have your kids next to you and oxygen masks are falling and you're trying to attend to your kids, but you're losing oxygen yourself, what's going to happen? You may fall unconscious, then you won't be able to help your kids. So we need to look after ourselves first. Number one priority is look after yourself. That means making sure that you are absorbing the right information, that you are getting your exercise, that you are eating well, eating healthy, that you are reducing your stress levels, because then you will be able to help other people. Thank you so much, Kurt. Exactly right. So this is known as the oxygen mask principle. It's a really powerful principle for us to take on board to make sure we look after ourselves first before helping others. I want to ask you, what is generating stress for you at the moment? So there's quite a few things. Is it spending a lot of time on social media? And as you know, just a few days ago, lots of posts about empty shelves around the world in supermarkets, or other negatives on social media. Is it news headlines that you're diving into the latest news, getting mean messages? Very easy to share those, especially ones that are slightly humorous, but maybe a bit mean. Lots of scary information available that we could spend a lot of time diving into, and of course, very easy to get into blaming others. I've seen this a lot recently popping up, that people want somebody to blame and to attack for this situation. So what is it that is generating stress for you, and what are your sources of stress? So once again, I do have another poll, and I would just like to find out from you, what are your sources of stress? And if you'd like to choose your top 3, I've written down a few. Is it spending a lot of time stuck at home? Is it the news headlines? Is it schools being closed? Uncertainty about business, the stock market, impact, people you know catching the virus or virus cases in your area, staff team difficulties, rapidly rising cases and death toll, friends and family upset or in danger. And I know some of those will overlap. If you've got something that's not on the list, please do feel free to add it in the chat. If you are unable to complete the poll because you have joined us through your phone or a browser, please write down the numbers in the group chat. You can just write down number 1, number 3, number 5. Yeah, Kurt, absolutely. Strained relationships. Jules, friends, family and friends in danger, definitely. Cash is saying mute Trump. I think that's probably fantastic advice. Linda, elderly family alone in UK, absolutely, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to end the polling now. Supermarkets, yeah, definitely long queues, low stocks. Fear, are we going to be able to get enough food for our families? Definitely. Kurt's not stressed about contracting the virus. Yeah, it's everything else around it, right?
It's the one thing I don't worry about.
Ah, I'm pretty much with you there. Yeah. People losing jobs. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to end the polling and share the results. Very, very high for all of us here. Obviously, the business uncertainty, and of course, I think the financial impact of that on each of us. Very high stress. Being stuck at home and the change that brings suddenly of having a whole new working environment, friends and family upset or in danger, definitely. News headlines and the rising cases and deaths also pretty high. Okay, thank you so much for sharing. Now the trouble is with what I've just done, I've just told you about the NLP communication model, right? What we input into our minds changes the way that we feel, changes our behavior. I've just had you run through 10 very negative things. You've read through them all and you've gone, yeah, shit. How are you feeling right now? What's your emotion right now, having just read through all of those 10 things? What's your feeling? Just please share it in the chat. Or if anyone wants to unmute and share, you certainly can. Bukai Shin, yeah, upset, feeling negative, tense, feeling flat, low. Anybody have any physical sensations? Do you feel it across your shoulders? Anxious? Apocalypse, wow, that's quite a feeling. I didn't know that was a feeling. That's pretty big. Feeling a bit zombie. Again, new feelings. Linda wants to work harder. Fantastic. Drives you positively. Yeah, well, that's eustress, right? So like an elastic band around your forehead, tense, and sympathy for Jasmine. Thank you so much. Okay, so now that I've just run you through 10 very negative things, we need to do the opposite to reverse this. So what reduces your stress right now? What are sources of positivity for you? One thing for me, during the financial crisis, I was watching way too much news. Back in 2009, I was watching BBC World every single day. I thought it was smart because I thought that was giving me great information to help me to do well, to help me know about the world. And actually, I realized it was really hitting me very hard. So what I did is I switched. Suddenly, I switched off the news and I started watching TED Talks instead. And it made such a huge difference. So learning about new ideas, about education, about development, about people doing weird and wonderful things around the world and coming up with incredible new technologies. TED, I started focusing on that a lot more, and it really had a positive impact for me. Playing games with my family, something I'm loving to do right now. One of the best games I've found. So, we've been with the kids now for 10 weeks. If you don't have it yet, I don't know, shares in it, but Trivial Pursuit Family Edition is absolutely fantastic. Go out and buy a copy. There's questions for parents and there's questions for kids. And it just made me realize there's lots of things that my kids didn't know about. So I just learned yesterday that my son didn't know about Roman numerals. So we learned that, and then we jumped on to YouTube, had a little video about Roman numerals. It was fantastic, really good. Having time to do video chat with loved ones, making that time, connecting with them, being a source of positivity, sharing the good things that are going on, what's the good news with them, making deeper connections. Volunteer work can have such a powerful positive impact, helping people out. I've spent a few hours in the post office in the past week, standing in line, sending masks and various things to people around the world. But volunteering, helping people out is really a very powerful source of positivity. Fun projects, for example, Sam managed to find a YouTube video where he could make this basketball net thing that sticks on the side of a bin, and he wanted to do that. So Absolutely brilliant. A few examples from you guys: meditation, exercise, bullet journaling, Lego. Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Yeah, playing the piano, hiking in the hills. Thank you, Linda. Having some love. Absolutely, Heather. Drawing, podcasts, exercises, cooking, learning new things. Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much. So reducing your stress. I've got a few more ideas here that we could add just in this next poll. And just want to get you to share what are some of the things that are reducing your stress. What are the top 3 things for you? If it's not in the list, again, you can add it. We've got quite a few things: dancing to music, doing a bit of yoga, reading some books, developing new projects. Yeah. So please do just add in the poll there, what are some of the sources of positivity for you? And what I want you to do, I want you to grab your pad and pen, and I want you to write down the sources of positivity, the things that you want to do more of. What are the things that you want to add into your life that are a source of positive? It might not be in the list, it could be in the list. If you say it's learning something new, please do write down, what is that new thing that you would love to learn during this time? Because we're not quite sure how long this is going to last. But write it down. I want you to write down at least 3 sources of positivity, things that are going to really positively impact you. Okay. And once you've got those things, just give me a wave. Just give me a little dance. You've written down those things. And I'm going to ask you to go back into your breakout room just to share those things. Just take 40 seconds each to share what those 3 things are with the other people in your room. And please.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Edward. Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so 40 seconds quickly. In the last 3 months, because I've been in Singapore for the last 3 months, doing a lot of reading of books, and I found that I read a lot faster when I had no interruptions from anything. So reading of books, watching a lot of videos on YouTube. I'm not sure what it's called in English, but Kuai San is what they call in Mandarin. Flash mobs, that's right, they call flash mobs. Yep, and spending time with my family. So 3 things.
Yeah, for me, volunteering, helping out with sending masks to the elderly, and also for me, watching the Korean drama. And also spending time to the families. Really spend a lot of time to the family.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, for me.
And Wendy?
Yeah, for me, I learned cooking during this period. Actually, I can't cook before this, so I learned cooking and cooking for families and listening some music and read some books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cook learning from recipe books, or you learn from watching videos?
Videos.
Yeah, for
Videos.
me, learn from YouTube.
Okay, does it work?
Yeah, of course. But you need to watch lots of videos. For like, yeah, maybe for the same dishes, you need to watch like 3 or 4 videos to compare.
Different types.
Which one?
Different types.
Yeah, to see which one works.
Okay.
but it really works. You can try.
Okay. So why have you tried cooking?
Why try cooking?
Okay. No, what dishes have you tried cooking?
Actually, baking. I don't really know how to bake, but like spending a lot of time at home with nothing to do, I try to bake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, something else I tried was playing Lego.
Oh.
Yeah, because I use Lego Serious Play, so I did try to play with other Lego blocks.
Hmm. My son loves Legos, so we play Lego every day.
Oh, every day.
Yeah,
Wow,
almost every day.
nice.
Yeah, he can spend 2 or 3 hours on playing Legos. He's only 6 years old.
Me too, actually. My husband love it.
Yeah.
Love Lego. Everyone love Lego.
Mm.
Is old school heavy metal. I also play bass guitar and singing because I have heavy metal band.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
can share some video if you wish later through YouTube.
Fantastic.
And of
Sounds
course
good.
I mentioned that I have small kids, 3 and 5 years, except of my daughter, she's 11. But those small kids do not take care about any situation. They are just free of outside influences, and they are able to express clean happiness. So I try to tune to their vibes.
Nice. I like it. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. And it may be that the kids are actually dealing with this way better than we are. And they're just like, it's awesome. Mom and dad are around. Yeah,
Yeah,
we get to
they
play
can
some
stay at
games.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're like, the world's coming to an end. Don't you realize this, child? And they're like, this is awesome.
All
Exactly.
the dogs are loving it.
Yeah.
Everyone's dogs and cats.
They're going nuts. Yeah. Having a brilliant time. They're like, Dad's home, Mom's home. Exactly. Fantastic. Catherine, how about for you? Source of positivity for you? I'm getting. I can see
Sorry,
you've
I
got
was
the
on
cool.
mute.
You've got the awesome headphones. You've got the Madonna headphones on.
It's my work headphones.
Yeah.
Video chatting with friends because I've never done the video chat before. I don't really like seeing myself on video, but actually I like seeing my friends on video. So
Yeah.
that's been pretty good actually.
Excellent.
Feels a
Excellent.
little bit more connected than just a normal phone call.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife and I did a happy hour the other day with our friends virtually through Zoom.
Yeah.
With cheersing and having a chat. It's quite nice.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
neighbour said they did that as well.
Yeah, we saved a lot of money. Much cheaper than the bars would be. So
Yes, I'm
not bad.
sure.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Catherine. All right, awesome. Thank you. Okay, all right. Next thing I want us to look at, and we'll hear from other ideas from each of you. Something called cognitive reframing. Fantastic tool, straight from NLP. This is NLP 101. Cognitive reframing is such a simple tool, but it's really powerful, really positive. So, of course, negative emotions can trap us inside the problem. If we're feeling angry, we're feeling frustrated, we're feeling fearful, it is very tough for us to take positive action. It's really only once we've kind of broken ourselves a little bit out of that negative emotion that we can begin to take more positive actions. So how do we do that? Well, one of the main ways is through a system called reframing. All right. So what is this? It's the ability to actively think positive and to see a problem from a much more positive viewpoint, to shift our perspective, change the way that we are looking at things. And it is really powerful for us to have the ability, the flexibility to break ourselves or others out of negative states, out of negative feelings. So for me, this is absolute pure EQ, emotional intelligence. Your ability to reframe and to change your emotion really can have a huge impact on your quality of life. Now, for me, what I've found, especially through doing a lot of study in NLP and learning really how to reframe, what the difference it's made is that instead of spending 3 days angry, I will now spend an hour or so. And then I'll realize and I'll go, oh, I need to think about this differently. I need to break out of this. And so what it's done, it's reduced the amount of time that I would spend in these really negative feelings. And so I'll jump into these reframes to help me shift my perspective and change the way that I look at things. So our goal with reframing is to replace a negative emotion, fear, anger, frustration, with one that's more valuable for us. Now that's kind of interesting, because we don't normally think about emotions having a value, but they really do. And of course, the danger is that if we feel frustrated or angry, it can really distract us from our work. So it's not very valuable for us to feel frustrated and angry. It can also, of course, lead to health problems in the long term. And of course, sleep deprivation as well. So it's not really valuable for us to feel a lot of anger, to feel a lot of frustration. Instead, perhaps it would be better for us to feel motivation and drive, and to think, you know what, I'm going to change things. I'm going to work out how I can make things better. I'm going to improve things. I'm going to take action. And so instead of frustration, if we can shift that and move it to motivation, this will be more valuable for us. A simple example. You found out that Bob, your colleague, has the same job title as you, does exactly the same work as you, same qualifications and everything, but you know, it's a bit lazy, Bob, right? He gets paid more than me. Unbelievable. Oh, so frustrating, so unfair. Bob gets paid more than me. Oh. But if you feel that, and you feel, oh, it's unfair, I'm frustrated, chances are you're not going to sleep. It's going to impact your digestion, as we said, all that stress. Instead, hey, let's think about it like this. Bob's salary, that is my goal. I'm going to earn even more than Bob. Just watch this. Go, go, go. And saying, I'm going to be motivated by this situation. I'm going to find a way. And so we reframe. Instead of saying, oh, it's unfair, it's terrible, we say, this is my goal, I'm going to do this. Now, one of my trainees, a few months ago, I said, does anybody have a good idea? How could you help reframe the situation? Oh, Bob gets paid more than me. And the participant said, oh, I've got a good idea. I can reframe that. And he said, oh, what is it? He said, oh, Bob's wife is a real bitch. No, that's not a reframe, okay? We don't know anything about Bob's wife. Bob's wife is probably a lovely person, okay? So it's not a reframe to say something bad about Bob's wife, although it might make you feel a bit better and it might make you laugh and smile, which might have a benefit. But that's not a reframe, all right? We need to actually take the information we're given and look at it from a different perspective, all right? So let me give you a couple of examples. When I was back on my NLP training back in 1998, I was in a group, and our trainer said to us, so can you give us an example of something that upsets you, makes you a bit upset, and we'll see if we can reframe it. We'll give you an example. And one lady put her hand up and she said, you know what, I really hate it. You know, when I spent time cleaning the house and the carpet, and I see my husband and kids' dirty footprints on my clean carpet. So disrespectful. And our trainer just looks at her and says, well, you know, when you see those dirty footprints, that's how you know that your loved ones are close by. And she went, yeah. And she just melted. It was just one of the most beautiful moments I've seen, because I turned around to look at her. She was just behind me. And she just went from this sort of look on her face of like, oh, sleep's gone, to, yeah. And instead of feeling angry and upset and disrespected, suddenly, how did she feel? When she knows that her loved ones are close by. How did she feel? Anyone add into the chat? Grateful. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciative. Loved. Yeah. Happy. Laughing. Yeah. Exactly. It was a beautiful moment. So just a phrase could help you look at things differently. There was a proud to clean up the love. Now the thing is here, it doesn't mean she didn't shout at her husband and kids. But if she did shout at her husband and kids, she could shout at them in a loving way. Hi, you guys, come on, I've just cleaned it, right? Instead of being, oh, you guys, you drive me crazy. There's a very big difference in the emotion and very big difference in the way of communicating. So she's absolutely free to shout at husband and kids, but to do it with love. All right. So they can do her laundry for her. Yes, exactly. Set them some chores. So a couple of weeks ago, I had some very bad news that there is a case. So Hong Kong has this map of all of the cases absolutely everywhere around Hong Kong. And there was actually a case in our building. And it really hit me because I was just like, oh, crap. And I just thought, oh, God, where is it? Is it the old lady who's just opposite? And I was just kind of thinking, the kids, are they gonna be okay? Like, is it spreading throughout the building? You know, because with SARS, it went through the toilet system. And so we're like, oh, crap, we need to go clean the toilets. And not only that, but there was a TV camera downstairs filming people coming in and going out of my building. And I was just like, what the? Like, and it made me so mad. I wanted to accidentally knock into the TV camera. I was quite upset. Anyway, so not good, and sleep or impacted. I didn't sleep well that night. So in terms of reframing, how can you reframe that, right? Well, everybody will be really careful. And that's the thing, everybody in the whole building, super careful. And everybody is just, you know, people aren't like joining in the lift anymore. They're letting you, you know, you have space. So because nobody knows who it is in the building who's got the case. So everyone's just like super extra careful. And they cleaned the building incredibly well. They just went through the whole building, sprayed it down. So I think we've, you know, got one of the cleanest apartment buildings in all of Hong Kong. And now, you know, we're much safer now. And actually, the person whose case it wasn't even in the building. She was off in hospital for 4 days beforehand. And very fortunately, she has recovered now as well. So, you know, these are the reframes. These are the positives that we kind of want to look for in this situation. And kind of go, you know what? People are going to be more careful. People are cleaning more thoroughly. So we want to change our thinking, change our perspective. All right. So some strong ways to begin a reframe, especially in this difficult time. First of all, you can actually say, well, something good could come from this. Yes, this is a negative event. Yes, this is a problem. Yes, this is a dark time. But something good could come from it. And then you need to think about, well, what good could come from this? What positive could there be? And it actually could be a good opportunity for you to do something differently. It could be an opportunity for you to grow, for you to change behavior. And that could be a good opportunity. And it's also something that we could learn from. And so what I want you to write down now, I just want you to write down something negative about the COVID-19 situation or something negative in your life right now. I would just want you to write down whatever that is in your notebook. Okay. What's something negative that has happened? So it should be an event. All right. Could be somebody that you know having contracted the virus. It could be something shutting down. It could be a business impact, for example. Just write it down. Okay. And you can also then write down what would be a different way of looking at it that would be more positive. Is there something good that could come from that negative situation? Would that negative situation be an opportunity to do something different? And is there something perhaps that you could learn from it? So normally we choose one of those. Okay. And I would love you to share in your teams. I'll just give you a couple more minutes to share in your breakout room with your partners.
Hello again.
Hi.
Hi.
Who to start sharing first?
How about me? So because of the coronavirus, my husband has a gym, and his gyms need to shut down for 14 days. But the government haven't said any follow-up actions, because we don't know if it will be 14 days or 28 days. A lot of uncertainty, but it is great that he will have like at least 2 weeks to spend with the kids, because it's never happened before. So yeah.
So for me, because of this virus, I am stranded in Singapore for like 2.5 months, and that gave me enough time to clean up the house, which is vacant for like 12 years. And then find a tenant, which I found very luckily during this COVID period. Otherwise, I wouldn't have time to clean and look for tenants.
Okay.
Yep. What about Wendy?
For me, from this, I realize that what's the most important thing in my life. So, like, spend more time with your families, with your friends, talk to them more frequently.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. And James, who just sorry, Wendy, I cut you off. Yes.
Oh, I want to see is and also my healthy is more important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Realized before, actually.
Yeah. In fact, I was having a WeChat class last night, Waker class the other day, and I say that because of this COVID, it changes a lot of people's perspective about life. It helped them to rethink what is important to them.
Yes.
James, I think he just joined us, and he says that we can use this experience in the future. Certainly, it's like the SARS in 2003.
Yes.
The negative is that we can't travel. The summer holidays will be different to our plans. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it might turn out to try something different that is not in the plan. But I certainly agree, Wendy, that I because of this, I managed to spend more time with the family. Something that I wasn't able to do in the past.
Yeah, and also I have time to spend with my pet, my cat.
Can you show your cat?
Yeah, here.
Okay, cool. How is he?
Huh?
You doing okay?
Yep, good.
Good.
Yeah. I think from a business perspective, because I'm in healthcare, and actually I'm getting more sort of inquiries, getting masks and doing the, sort of COVID-19 test to the United States. So therefore, I think that is a positive sort of happening because of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, thank you, Stanley.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Thank you, Stan. Sharing with the group. All right. Welcome back. Thank you. Hopefully you had a chance to share your reframes. If you've got a really good reframe that was shared in your group, please add it to the chat. All right, that would be great, so that we can share it with everybody. If there was one that you were like, actually, that's kind of, I like that. Yeah, that sort of resonates with you. Now, the thing with reframes is they have to fit you. Because there's a danger is that sometimes we hear, you know, somebody will tell us a reframe that works for them, and you kind of go, yeah, it doesn't really work like that, you know. So we want to make sure that we change the reframe so it really fits, it resonates with us, and it connects with us. So sometimes we might have to reframe a few different times and try and work out one that actually is going to be really positive for us. All right. So by the way, I did not share the results of the poll. Apologies. And I also realized I think I only gave you one option in the last poll. But let me share the results of the poll. And unsurprisingly, absolutely number one of sources of positivity is exercise. Very, very high. Number two, talking to friends and family. Number three, volunteering, helping others, as well as watching some fun things, reading books, and playing favorite music. Apologies, I did not give you a multiple choice. I should have chosen the multiple choice option there. Alrighty, but exercise, really critical, especially for me. A little bit frustrating now that my gym is closed again. But hey ho, we deal with it. So what next thing I want to talk about is destructive versus constructive beliefs. Now these are different. So reframing is about events, things that happen. Beliefs is about your interpretation of those things. And beliefs are deeper and more powerful and much, much more dangerous. And beliefs never travel alone. Beliefs travel in packs. And that makes them very dangerous because they will connect together with a whole series of other beliefs that will reinforce each other. So in order to overcome them, we need to put together a series of very powerful constructive beliefs that are going to really help us. So destructive beliefs or negative beliefs are any belief that we've taken on that will pull us down, it'll stress us out, it'll take us down into a negative cycle. And our beliefs are valuable to us. They help us make sense of the world. They influence decisions, they affect our results, and they do guide our lives. And for a large part, our beliefs are pretty good at keeping us safe. And so when we say, oh my goodness, this COVID virus is super scary, and one of our beliefs is, you know, I believe I really should wash my hands often. That's great, because that's keeping us safe. But there's a lot of other negative beliefs that we take on that may be really impacting us. So holding certain beliefs that are going to deliver stress, such as, oh, fuck, the world is turning to shit. Apologies for the bad language. Just if the producer can just bleep out any of the bad words that I use. The government is effing useless. It's so frustrating. These types of beliefs, especially, and the thing is, what happens is we'll share it with our friends. And we'll share, and I can't believe what the government's done. I can't believe, have you seen what's happened? And you get messages from your friends and you reinforce it and you go, yeah, unbelievable, God. And the trouble is it reinforces and it creates this negative cycle. And it's really quite dangerous because if we really believe that, and then we expand that thinking and we look at examples around us and we begin to filter more negatively because our beliefs are a big part of our filters. This can really bring us down and increase our stress levels and mean that we don't sleep. So we need to be super careful. It's very easy right now to spend time in the news, to spend time listening to others who are freaking out, to spend time on social media and to go, I'm drowning here. It's very easy. What's difficult is to look at the world and say, you know what? I'm going to surf this wave too. I've been through so many waves in my life. I've been through hell and high water, and I will surf this wave too. I've got this. We're going to get through this, right? But the power of having that belief is really impactful. So I will surf this wave too. I will get through this too. I'm going to support my friends. I'm going to support my family. I'm going to be a force for good. Take a deep breath. Really powerful. Thank you for taking a deep breath, those of you. Exactly. It makes a big, big difference. All right. You know, in terms of business, Winston Churchill said, never let a good crisis go to waste. And in terms of business, this, you know, our businesses are in huge crisis right now. I've never done so many webinars in my life. I'm learning how to make them really good. I hope, hope you guys are enjoying it. And I'm learning, I'm growing. It's like being a new trainer again, because I'm spending so much time working out how to make webinars impactful. And it, you know, it's a great opportunity. So don't let it go to waste. You know, make sure that you work out a way to thrive, not just survive, but to thrive during this time. Now, destructive beliefs, very easy for us to take on these destructive beliefs. So what destructive beliefs do you find yourself thinking sometimes in terms of the world in COVID-19? And you can, hopefully this is multiple choice this time, if somebody can check just to see if you can choose a few. The world is heading into disaster. Business is going to be really bad. Everyone's panicking. People are losing their jobs. There's nothing we can do. Hospitals are being overwhelmed. Kids, family are bored, stuck at home. This could kill me financially. We're stuck. All borders are closed. Many people we know and love could die. Those are all beliefs. So please just choose which ones, and I can see that you are able to choose multiple ones. So if you, in the chat, if you are unable to choose the belief because you've signed in a different way, in the chat, please jump in the chat and just write down the numbers. You can write down 1, 7, 3, 8, 4, 2, whichever ones you have kind of found yourself thinking. And I'm just going to end the polling, and I'm going to share the results. So number 1 is people are losing their jobs. Yes, absolutely. We can see that all around us. The unemployment figures in pretty much every country are going up really fast. Definitely. Business is going to be really bad. We're all stuck. Borders are closed. Holiday? Maybe next year. Hey, 2023. It's going to be fantastic. Yes. The world's heading into disaster. You look at that hockey stick, right, of the cases. It's just like, oh, yeah. People are panicking. Hospitals overwhelmed. Heartbreaking, right? And could kill you financially. Nothing we can really do about it, right? Unless someone's going to come up with a vaccine. Anyone here? Any ideas on vaccines? So we could spend time dwelling in these negative beliefs. And if we did, and these are, and be careful, because a lot of our newspapers, a lot of the messages that we're receiving on our phones from friends have these beliefs embedded in them. Be aware you are absorbing these beliefs from the information you're observing from people, conversations around you with somebody who's going, oh crap. Be aware, all right? Because there are some beliefs that perhaps we should be taking on that could make a big difference to us. So thank you, Linda, sharing a positive belief already, even before we talked about it. There's always a silver lining, you know, improvement in climate change. Absolutely. The amount of aeroplanes that are not flying anymore, and cars that are not driving. And Kurt has deactivated Facebook. Fantastic move, very smart. So we need to get rid of these destructive beliefs and think about what are the positive beliefs. What are the beliefs that could help you shine a little bit brighter to those around you? What are the beliefs that could help you be a better friend, a better mother, a better father, a better son, daughter, help you be a better person? Well, you know what? The smartest people in the world right now are working their asses off on a vaccine. Vaccine trials are going ahead already, and they believe that a vaccine will be ready for distribution by the end of this year, even before the end of this year. They're bringing up the timelines. They are doing the most incredible work to make this happen. People are really coming together. We're seeing it in community after community, that people are helping each other. People are reaching out to those in our society who are elderly, who are less capable, and they're really helping them. They're getting together. They are forming charities, and people are really activating and looking after each other and helping each other. There are a lot of movements here. It's fantastic to see it. This is going to be a digital revolution. It's going to transform the way we work. The amount of time that we're commuting is going to be able to change as we realize, actually, we can do a lot of work from home. It is possible. We can change the way that we look at life and work and the world. And I'm connecting more deeply with those people that I love and those people who are important to me. We're learning really now what is really important in life. The whole world just takes a step back and goes, you know what? We were so focused on money and just making a few more dollars. You know what? Actually, what's really important to us? The people, family, our friends, colleagues, the people who are important to us. This is a chance for us to transform and to really change as individuals, for us to grow, for us to learn, for us to take ourselves to the next level. Because the greater the adversity, the more strength we gain. And this is a hell of an adversity. We see it again and again through wars and through times of great pain, great difficulty. The human race is incredible. We've survived far, far worse, and we've thrived, we've become better, we've become stronger. Our healthcare workers are absolute heroes. They're doing an incredible job. In fact, everyday people are absolute heroes. They're doing amazing work around the world. These charities are doing such an incredible job, and as the world changes, so do we. So perhaps these are some beliefs that we could take on that would actually have a positive impact on us. And so I just want you to just click on which of those, you could choose more than 3 if you like, you could have 4 or 5, which of those resonates with you and makes you kind of feel, yeah, you know what, I've got this, it's going to be okay. Just choose the ones that resonate. And I want you to write down either the ones that you've got here, or expand on them, or others. What are the beliefs that are going to help you shine the brightest through this time? That are going to help you feel more positive? That are going to help you get up in the morning and do your thing and be a positive influence on other people? Mark is saying there's tons of good stuff going on in the world. There really is. There's loads of great stuff. Linda, people are singing to each other from balconies, from windows. In England, yeah, we've all seen the video, right? not quite as good as the Italians and the Spanish, but yeah, absolutely. Please write down a couple of phrases. What are the beliefs that you have, those positive beliefs that are going to help you to thrive through this time? People are discovering, thank you, Linda, people are discovering their inner kindness, their caring natures, absolutely. Greater awareness of mental health, definitely, and community building. I'm reconnecting with old friends I haven't spoken to for ages. I'm doing video calls with them. Had a chat with one of my good buddies who's in Brighton just before this call. Before that, a friend who's in Tokyo. I haven't had a chat with him for ages. And I wouldn't have done that, you know. I wouldn't have taken the time to do that. So I'm just going to end the polling and share the results. So number 1 coming in. Now we're learning what's really important in life. Yeah, we are. People are coming together, and this really is a chance for us to transform. Definitely a digital revolution. We're seeing it already. Zoom's share price through the roof. We gain more strength. Vaccine is coming. We can connect more deeply. Absolutely. All right. So once again, I'm going to ask you to come back into your breakout rooms and to share with other people what are your positive beliefs in this time. So I'm just going to open those rooms.
Okay. Oh, I was asking Natalie, how old is your cat?
8 years old. Yeah, I have I actually 8. Yes, 8. I have 3 cats.
8 years old. Okay.
8 years old, and there is one in black.
Okay.
Hi.
Is it called Blackie?
No.
Blackie?
No. His name is Fei Zai.
Fei Zai, which means fat boy.
Yeah, fat boy. He's fat. See.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go back to the discussions. Oh, Jenna has 2 cats as well. Okay.
Yeah, mine is also one white and one black.
Oh, okay. Cool. Nice. Okay. Going back to Andy's question, what is the positive belief? I think for me, there were 2 things. One is I start discovering what's important for me in my life. In fact, I just posted something on my WeChat that says that the future is actually today. The future is actually today. If there's something I need to do today, I will not wait until tomorrow. Whether it's to say a thank you or to go and eat something I like, because I'm not sure whether tomorrow will come. So that was my first positive belief. Spending a lot more time with my family. I think that was the second. Yeah, over to you.
For me, I think it's I'm happy to see the people in Hong Kong. They're really coming together, because the Hong Kong people, they rarely talk to the stranger before. But
really?
now well, we don't really care about others.
Okay.
But now when we see the people, they're not wearing masks in the transportation, on the train or the bus, we will ask, or we are willing to give one mask to others.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that is what I'm really happy to see.
Okay. 58 more seconds, so over to
Wendy.
Okay. I believe that the people all over the world will getting better soon. Yeah, like Andy said, the smartest people are working on the vaccine.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What about James? Is it Jenna or James? Or Jenna? Yeah, you want to type something for us? Okay, probably she's still typing.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the impression that I get when I go to Hong Kong is that you guys walk really fast, so you don't have time for others.
Yes.
Yeah, Jenna says that spend a lot more time with my family before.
Okay. All right, so welcome back. Last thing I want to quickly, very, very quickly share is just a few tips and ideas, and I would love you to write down any tips and ideas that resonate with you or that you think you could do that would help. This is the concept of self-care, looking after yourself. As we said, it's about putting the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you can then help those around you. All right, so a few ideas on self-care. We need to think about the different kinds. Physical body in terms of making sure we're getting enough sleep, stretching, walking, making sure that we have healthy food, perhaps doing a little bit of yoga. Emotional self-care, looking after ourselves in terms of, you know, having forgiveness, compassion, you know, being kind to yourself as well. Social self-care, from those around you, connecting with those you love, those positive people, perhaps cutting out a little bit of contact with those people who might not be such a positive influence. And I think we tend to know who they are, right? So perhaps spending a little bit less time. And apologies, Lena, time is too short to discuss. I know we're at 9:30 already. So apologies that we didn't have so much time. And yeah, don't beat yourself up. If you don't have a productive day, you're feeling a bit down, absolutely. And of course, the spiritual aspect, thinking about, you know, connecting perhaps with nature, meditating, journaling, creating a bit of sacred space for yourself. So a few things that we can do. Some great calendars out there, some great ideas like this active coping calendar. Thinking about what are some of the positive things that we could add into our lives, perhaps doing something different to look after ourselves each day. Of course, making sure we're getting some decent vitamin C, vitamin D. Vitamin D, great. Make sure you get at least 30 minutes out in the sun if there is any sun. Otherwise, some fish, I believe apricots and also walnuts are pretty high in vitamin D. And of course, making sure we're getting the vitamin C as well to support our immune system. Scheduling times each day for a few stress-releasing activities. If you know, making sure that we're prioritizing exercise, having a bubble bath, family time, reading, sharing love to friends, doing a bit of yoga. Purchasing some leafy plants, getting some green around the home and office. Yeah, getting some bit more oxygen, reducing the carbon dioxide. Does help to reduce our blood pressure. Removing chemicals from our diets, of course, more fresh fruit and veg where we can, eating at the right times, not too late, particularly obviously limiting alcohol consumption. Watching out for caffeine as well, it's a diuretic and a stimulant. Seeing what we can do to having a little bit more water and making sure we're keeping ourselves nice and refreshed, keeping hydrated. Laughing for at least 15 minutes per day where we can, you know, sharing something positive and funny, or perhaps, you know, watching something that we know and we love, something that's going to make us feel good and a bit more positive. Of course, laughing does produce some endorphins. Research does show it can actually assist in recovery, help us to live longer. One thing that I do highly recommend is that there's a system called tapping, otherwise known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, which involves tapping in different acupressure points. There is a fantastic gentleman called Brad Yates, who's got a massive series of videos, lovely, lovely guy. If you are feeling stressed out, you are feeling anxious, you're feeling angry, you're feeling afraid, just type in tapping, go to YouTube and type in tapping for whatever's going on, tapping for fear, tapping for anxiety, tapping for frustration, anger, whatever it is. Find Brad Yates's video and just follow along with him. Follow along with his tapping, follow along with the things that he's saying. It is very, very impactful to help us just get in a much more positive state, to help us relax. And it really is very impressive. I do love Brad Yates. He's really fantastic. Alrighty, so this is bringing us to the end of our session today, and let me see if I can show the video panel. Final thing I want to do is just to say that, you know, having a little bit of positivity, getting your body moving, doing a little bit of stretching, taking some deep breaths can really have a nice impact. So if everybody here, I'd just like to just put your hands together, okay? Just take a really, really deep breath. Okay, take a deep breath. And out. Okay, breathe in really, really deep now. And out. One more, last one. Really deep breath this time. Hold it. And out. And now, little dance. I want to see your move.
Well, you can tell by the way I wash my hands, I'm corona-free, won't take no chance. Toilet paper, latex gloves, I've been ready for this since I was born, and now it's alright, it's okay. You may look the other way, you can try to understand the coronavirus effect on me. Whether your brother, whether your mother, you stay inside, stay inside. Feel the city breaking and everybody shaking, we're staying inside, staying inside. Ha, 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 staying inside, staying inside. Ha, 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 staying inside.
Everybody.
Corona, somebody help us, somebody help us here. It's the corona, somebody help us here. I'm staying inside.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Apologies, I went a little bit over time there, but you've been absolutely fantastic. Always good. Get your body moving, get some exercise, get yourself positive. Follow those tips, follow those things, bit of self-care, bit of self-love, and please do stay positive, stay stress-free. Add in, think about the sources of negativity, sources of positivity. What can you do in positive in your schedule? And those constructive beliefs, really important. If you write down those constructive beliefs, just get them written down, slap them on your video screen, your laptop screen. Really nice to do. Just keep that source of positivity, right? Have a read through them, take a deep breath. Yeah. Instead of just reading the news, you know, if you do want to look at the news, perhaps you type in vaccine news. It's very, very different to just typing in news. Alrighty. And create a self-care plan for yourself, your family, your team members, the people around you, because you could be a massively positive influence at this time. And you are actually, as you positively influence the people around you and you reduce their stress levels and you help them feel better, feel more positive, you're actually having a positive impact on their immune systems as well. And that can help really keep them safe. So absolutely brilliant, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If anyone has any comments, suggestions, ideas, please raise your hand or speak out.
Maybe you mentioned that all about is to keep positive thinking, because thinking has strength to make things happen. If we believe that these things already happened, we can go towards them. So if we keep positive, if we have positive targets, we must be happy. It's magic roundabout.
I like it. I would say, you know, you don't want to just go la 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 la. You know, there's no darkness, no darkness. Everything's happy, everything's wonderful, right? You need to recognize the darkness, but going through the darkness, actually write down the darkness, and then go through that into the light is much, much more powerful. You know, recognize it. Say, you know what? Yeah, that's there. It's okay. It's in the world, but actually there's a lot of great stuff that's happening. I'm going to choose to focus on that. Thank you, Zdeněk.
Thank you
Great
all.
stuff.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining.
Bye-bye.
Andy.
Yes.
Andy, I'd like to just share one thing with everybody who's on the
Please.
call, as it might save them from something. It's a bit practical. I love all the positivity, fantastic. But something that's just popped into my head because I just saw an article before I came online, which was about Zoom bombing. So in case anybody is thinking of setting up their own webinars and using Zoom, a lot of people over the last few days it's this new wave where if you share your Zoom ID publicly, anybody can access. And I say this because I noticed you shared yours on LinkedIn, right, Andy?
It's also searchable, Andy. If it's not password protected,
yes,
meeting IDs can be searched through Zoom. So,
yep.
I mean, big way to stop Zoom bombing, which I would thank you very much, Linda. This is something that's been on my mind. And it's just a new version of trolling, but it can really make us seem unprofessional. So the best way to do it is to have a password.
Right.
And which you often have, and that can be, and have a producer, and have that producer ready to boot that person unceremoniously, no warning, no commentary on what they did.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Keeping us safe.
Did you have a producer tonight, Andy?
I did. I had two.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Thank you to Shishi and Wendy for being our producers tonight. Great stuff. Anyone want to share something? Positive takeaway, new thought, new idea? What's some new action that you're going to do? What are you going to do differently after this session? Claire?
I like the idea of acknowledging the darkness and moving through it into the light of positivity.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Well, I took something slightly different away from acknowledging the darkness, and something else you said about allowing yourself a certain amount of time each day to get angry. I also have anger problems, and I've noticed that the older I get, the more control the more coping mechanisms I build, that refractory period between getting angry, that explosion, and being rational is getting shorter and shorter. So it's easier for me to manage, right? But with this darkness and the depression that comes with it, it's sometimes, I don't want to necessarily say embrace it, but I feel like there are some times when things are getting so bad and so tough that one of the ways we can care for ourselves is say, hey, it's okay for you to be depressed right now. It's okay for you to give in to that. Because in some ways, I feel that when we fight these things, it could make it worse, right? So, I mean, there's been a time when I've said to my wife, sorry, honey, I'm a little depressed today. I will be okay, but I'm depressed about, and this is what it's about, or maybe I don't know what it's about. And I try to go on through my day, just like saying that, I twisted my ankle, but I still got to go to work. I'm going to limp, twisted my ankle, acknowledge I twisted my ankle.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm doing, is in acknowledging the darkness and acknowledging that sometimes it's okay to be overwhelmed by everything. It is.
We're human. And I think there's a danger, particularly in our profession. Kurt is a fantastic facilitator and trainer also, is that we have to kind of give off this persona of, aha, I have everything managed and everything is fine and I'm going to be this great force for good. And, the reality is sometimes, I was in tears the other night. So.
There's something, I was in tears this morning. There was something that.
Not a competition.
My tears were much saltier. But what I was going to say is, learning a lot about this in actually being more authentic with my coaching clients. When my coaching clients are sharing what they're going through, I share what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is they want to coach me, which is not why we're there, and it's very sweet. But then I turn that thing that they do and I say, see, look at you. This is empathy, and this is what we've been working on. Been working on building empathy. And if any of you have ever worked with Chinese businessmen in a Chinese business culture, empathy is not something that comes natural to them. So it's a good thing. I think it adjusts our status a little bit. It balances the status between coach and coachee. He knows I'm going through rough stuff. I know he's going through rough stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that being kind to ourselves is actually really important. I know I beat myself up a lot, and a lot of the battle is actually just being kinder to yourself and accepting what you're going through. And a piece of advice that somebody gave me some time ago, which I find really useful, is wherever we all are in our lives at the moment, irrespective of how difficult it is, it's exactly where we're supposed to be right now. And so be open to the lessons that are being presented and use that to move forward, because we'll be stronger as we move forward.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. One of the simplest techniques that I know of is, just my friend of mine nicknamed it the Whomping Willow, because you have to stretch out. But if you just stretch out and you say thank you.
That's not what you tell me to call.
There is a different name for it.
That's not what you tell me.
You say thank you for the negative things, thank you for the bad things, and just stretch out.
Thank you, mother lover.
If everybody just does a stretch right now, just say thank you. Thank you for all the bad.
Thanks for the shit.
Thanks for the shit. Exactly. Thanks for all the shit. Thank you. Because you know what? When you say thank you for all this shit that's going on in your life, you know, it's like you have this much bigger picture, and you know what? Because the thing is, this is life. It's ups, it's downs, it's a roller coaster, it's a journey. Thank you for the wonderful things. Thank you for the shit. Thank you for those bastards out there, those idiots. And you know what? It just makes you feel a lot better. So, thank you everybody for joining us today.
Thank you, Andy, for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Excellent. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
guys. Have an awesome.
Nice meeting you
Make
all.
magic happen. Nice to meet everybody.
Thank
Big
you.
love.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have an awesome rest of your
Be
day.
safe,
All right.
everybody.
You too. Cheers, guys.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.